What's up everybody? GenExDividendInvestor here. This is going to be a really exciting video because I'm going to show how March was a record for me in terms of the most dividends I've ever dripped in a month. And then I'm going to show you how the amount of dividends I drip in a year is equivalent to having a 9-to-5 job that pays $30 an hour. I'll also show you how much I drip every minute and every second just for giggles. So please make love to that like button for me, or at minimum just caress it tenderly. As a quick side note, I've had times in my life where I received more dividends in a month than I'm going to show you in this video, but those were edge case instances where I was paid out a special dividend either due to an acquisition or due to some one-off event, rather than what I'm going to show in this video, which are recurring dividends that should keep growing from my drip. I also want to mention that I think it's great that lots of channels on YouTube are documenting their journey as they get into investing, as that is very relatable if you are also a beginning investor. I'm not in that bucket of just beginning my investing journey, so my portfolio might be less relatable. However, I hope to make up for that by sharing my insights as someone who has invested for over 25 years in the stock market and has done okay, as opposed to someone who's just started investing. I show my decently sized portfolio details not to flex over the internet, which is immature at best, but instead I do it for two main reasons. Number one, I want to show that my money is where my mouth is and that I have real skin in the game, as the majority of my net worth is in stocks. And number two, to inspire you and show you what is possible with your dividend investing if you stick with it over the long haul, especially during downtimes like this. The people who quit now out of frustration or fear are the ones who tend not to get wealthy. The investors who keep moving carefully through this chaos towards their financial goals when everyone else is running for the hills are going to be the ones that do well. At least that's what I've seen as someone who's continued investing through multiple big pullbacks, kind of like we're experiencing today. So let's start this off by diving into my portfolio and then see how many dividends I was paid in March. Then I'll use that info to show you how the dividends I make are the equivalent of making $30 an hour in a 9-to-5 hourly job. Alright, let's jump over the spreadsheet, my portfolio here, and I'll kind of go without zooming in quite yet. So this is the portfolio allocation. So this right here is Infotech with Apple and Microsoft at 17.9% of the portfolio. This right here is healthcare with J&J, AbbVie, and Pfizer at 12.2%. And this is consumer staples food beverages with Pepsi and Coke at 12.2%. Then we have this green right here is consumer staples household goods with Procter & Gamble, Kimberly-Clark, Colgate-Palmolive at 14.9% of the portfolio. Here we have utilities with Duke and Southern at 10.4% of the portfolio. And then we have industrials with 3M, Leggett & Platt, and Caterpillar at 8.9%. Communication services with AT&T at 5.1%. Consumer discretionary with McDonald's, Starbucks, Home Depot, and Disney at 8.4%. And then we have real estate, Realty Income at 4.2%. And we have energy with Chevron and Exxon at 3.5%. And financials with Goldman Sachs and Travelers at 2.3%. And I could put Leggett & Platt in consumer discretionary, but I kind of like it in industrials. So I call this my modified sector up here. So the way you read this for folks who haven't seen it, I have my ticker, the company, the number of shares, the current share price, what the delta was on the day that I recorded this. So it's gone up a few bucks today. This is a spark line that shows over the last 365 days how the stock has done. So it's green if it's gone up and red if it's gone down. Current PE, average weighted PE, forward PE, and average weighted forward PE. So we can see that the portfolio's average weighted PE is a 23 and the average weighted forward PE is a 20. This is the sector it's in, the percent of my portfolio, annual dividend. And then this is when they tend to increase their dividend. Dividend pay date, and I highlight it in green if it's today, or turquoise if it's within a week, or yellow if it's within a month. So we can see that Kimberly-Clark here is going to be paying today. And then we have the dividend yield, the 3-year dividend CAGR, 5-year dividend CAGR, and a 10-year dividend CAGR, which I kind of dynamically pull, and then my manual 5-year dividend CAGR that I calculate. And then we see the portfolio's average weighted 5-year dividend CAGR is a 7.73. And then the average weighted dividend yield, or the portfolio's starting yield, is at 3.67%. And then portfolio value, so for each stock, how much I own. and we see the portfolio is at 1.358 million, and it is down 20% from its all-time peak. And I added these in here just to kind of see how the Dow's doing and the S&P 500, and the Dow's around 28% down from its peak. So I'm down less because my overall beta is less. So you can see here my portfolio's average weighted beta is 0.74, so that's why I'm less down than the S&P 500 or the Dow. So some dividend data, payout ratios, and we see the portfolio's average weighted years of increasing dividends is 35.5. So it'll be really fascinating to see what the companies do during this kind of crisis in terms of if they suspend or cut their dividends, which wouldn't surprise me. Aristocrats beta, market cap. So my portfolio's average weighted market cap is 321 billion. And then let's take a look at the dividends. All right, so these are the dividends for March. So we see Southern paid a dividend of $672, Pfizer paid $175, Chevron paid $228, J&J paid $809 of dividends, ExxonMobil $725, 3M $779, Microsoft paid $398, Realty Income paid $292, Duke paid $984, McDonald's paid $503, Home Depot paid $141, Goldman Sachs paid $140, Pepsi paid $717, and then Travelers paid $124. So it's a new all-time record, monthly record for me, of dividends received in March of any month. And so in March I received $6,692.55 of dividends. And then we can look at this in a different view. So this is just, I'm just adding a new month, new column in here every time there's a new month, so we can kind of track how things are. Pepsi had their special payout in January and March deal. And so we can see that, for example, Realty Income, kind of how it's growing over time. So 284, 291, 292. So they had a slight increase here. And then later on this month, we'll add in April's. And so we can see the variance between the months here. January, I received about a little over 2,000 dividends, and then February, about 3,600. And then in March, about 6,700. So far in April, about 660. So you can see there's some fluctuation there. Okay, so we saw that I'm making around $50,000 a year in dividend income. One thing that is neat about this dividend income is that it's totally passive. My wife and I are at home right now, and that dividend money keeps on flowing in, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It doesn't need sick time, nor does it stop working during the holidays. My wife has a normal 9-to-5 hourly position, but she has been furloughed due to the beer sickness, so it's nice to have some income still coming in, especially passive income. I'm currently working for equity in a startup. They've asked me to go full-time with them, so I might do that. So if my dividend income is around $50,000 a year, how much does that translate to on an hourly basis if I was working a 9-to-5 job? This is an approximate, of course, as I have some of this in tax-sheltered accounts, including some of which is my REIT, but it gives you a reasonable estimate. Let's do an example where we assume I have no wage income and that I live in a state with no state income taxes. So I did the math, and if I made $61,000 a year of wages, it would be like making $49,748 of qualified capital gains dollars. Watch my video called How You Make More with Dividends to understand the specifics of this, as I'm going to run through it quickly. If my take-home from an hourly job was $61,000 a year in 2020, this tax calculator shows I would owe $6,482 in federal taxes. This other tax calculator shows that I would also owe $4,667 in Social Security and Medicare taxes, so my total taxes due if I made $61,000 and lived in a state with no state income taxes would be $11,149, which means my take-home would be $49,851. Since you don't pay tax on capital gains income from qualified dividends, as this calculator shows, that means that a salary of $61,000 a year is basically the same as me making $49,851 in dividends, because dividends are taxed so much more favorably than job income. Okay, now how much do you have to make per hour to make $61,000 a year? Well, let's do simple math first. There are 52 weeks a year, and let's assume you work 40 hours a week. That means you'll be working 2,080 hours per year. But that number assumes you have no sick time or vacation days or holiday time off. I found an analysis that looked at the U.S. Labor Department data and found that the average employed U.S. adult works 1,811 hours per year, which is working 46.8 weeks a year, averaging 38.7 hours per week. Let's do the math for both. So if you worked 2,080 hours a year, your $61,000 salary would be the equivalent to making $29.33 per hour. If you worked 1,811 hours a year, your $61,000 salary would be equivalent to making $33.68 per hour. So let's be conservative and say $30 per hour on the low end, which is between the two. Or to put that another way, if you make around $50,000 a year of qualified dividend income and you didn't have any other wages and you were single and lived in a state like Florida, then your take-home pay from dividends would be equivalent to you working a full-time hourly job making $30 an hour. That's pretty amazing. That means my portfolio is generating income for me like a person who has a good full-time job that pays $30 per hour and is able to work year-round. Now for fun, let's see if you made $50,000 a year in dividend income, what that is per hour, without trying to factor in taxes or translating into a job. If we just straight took $50,000 and divided it by 365 days a year and 24 hours a day, then that means I'm making $5.71 per hour every hour of every day, week, and month in a year. Or that means I'm making around 10 cents a minute, or about 0.16 cents every second, which means every 6 seconds I'm making 1 cent. That doesn't sound very significant when I go down to how much I make every second, but you can see how those pennies add up when it's around the clock. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like this video, and if you really want to be nice, then share it with a friend and leave a comment below telling me you did that. Also, if you'd like to chat directly with me or any of the 1,431 other dividend investors on my free investing Discord server, then click on the link in the description of this video. It'll also tell you how you can join from a smartphone if you download the Discord app. My heart goes out to anyone who's being impacted by what's going on in the world right now. I want you to know that I believe in you, you're awesome, your future will get better, and I'll chat with you again real soon. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and these videos are for entertainment, inspiration, and educational purposes only. Investing of any kind involves a risk. I am only sharing my opinion with no guarantee of gains or losses on investments. Don't use this information without double checking it and talking to someone a lot smarter than me after you completely understand it. So I'll see you in the next video, and remember to stay positive, patient, play for the long term, keep investing in great companies, budget reasonably, and win. I know you can do it. Just like I know you can hit the subscribe, like, and bell icons, share this video with others, and comment below.